It's another edition of Colgan Racing Experience here this evening on the Slide Job Racing Network. 4 races left to go in the inaugural season, and tonight the series makes the trip to Phoenix Raceway for what should be a lot of fun. Short track action around the 1 mile, lowly banked oval, all relying on the draft here, and sometimes have to bloop off that throttle. Who knows what's going to happen in CRX competition. So glad you could join us, everyone. Marty Sakala with you here on the Slide Job Racing Network, as well as the CRX Facebook page. Just moments away from getting the green flag here. Qualifying currently underway at the moment here as you take a look at Phoenix Raceway Live. And we've had some good action here so far at the moment here this season. And in case you missed us here last week, we unfortunately did not have a live stream due to action that took place here at the at Irwindale Speedway. I was in Knoxville for the Knoxville Nationals. However, though, points lead continues to extend for the number 17 EHP ride driven by Kendrick Cryer. A 56-point advantage over the 99 of Billy Snodgrass. Matt Pelletier third, 74 points back. Pretty much those are the drivers that are in the running for the Drivers' Championship. As for on the team side of things, it is between EHP and DVR. 19 points separate the top two. But we talked about it, qualifying currently happening at the moment. There's a look at the driver of car number 39 and Jimmy Johnson. Working on lap number 1 of the 32.1. Here's how the night's going to go. 6-lap heat races. Tonight's feature 120 laps around this 1 mile oval. That's a fun racetrack to put street stocks on. It's not as fast as you normally see the Cup Series drivers race on, but it's a little bit of a, think of it as a hybrid super speedway, but without all the high banking. Because you can draft really well. At times you can go 2x2. However, though, it's all about momentum here at Phoenix. And if you can have the most momentum, you've got a good chance at making it into victory lane. Car count with us, 22 drivers here this evening. There's a look at Tyler Letchworth as he gets set to go racing. Let's talk about the Phoenix Raceway while we are at it and just waiting to get the racing going. There you see it, the 1 mile racetrack, that dog leg always notable. And because it's the Legacy Phoenix, you cannot shortcut that dog leg because that is full of grass. You don't want to touch the grass because it is like ice here. But obviously, as we mentioned, goes back to the days of the old Phoenix Raceway before it had its reconfiguration in 2011. So it's Billy Snodgrass that is the quickest at a 31.58. Kendrick Cryer second quick, 31.59. Kenny Tripp third quick at a 31.62. Tyler McRae fourth quick at a 31.66. Travis Sukup rounds out the top 5 at a 31.67. Should be 2 heats for us here this evening with our car count at 22 guys. 2 drivers did not make the call here this evening. And with that being said, let's meet the field here. Here is the starting lineup. On the front row, Billy Snodgrass in car number 99. Next to him is Kenny Tripp in the number 52. Row number 2 is Travis Sukup in the number 45 and Steele Langford in the 16. Row 3, it's Blake Wynn in car number 74. He's next to the 27 of Steven Rex. Row number 4, Johnny B. John Brancaccio in the 62. Next to Kyle Bartos in car number 88. Rounding out the top 10, making his CRX debut is Luke Turpin. They call him Superman in car number 12. Next to him, it's R. Hendren in the 37. Rounding out the field is Joe Hurd in car number 97. So again, 6-lap heats. Everyone transfers in. With it being 22 drivers here with us this evening. Just waiting on 2 more drivers to make the grid, and we'll be all good to go. Here's a look at your weather forecast for this evening. 73 degrees the air temp, 85 degrees is the track temp. Phoenix always known for its low humidity and dry heat. But the track temp at 85 degrees, it could be a little bit of a slick track throughout the day. Keep in mind the track does not have lights because this is the Legacy edition of Phoenix Raceway. Let us know in the chat who you're rooting for and who your pick is to win. So far, 9 viewers with us here total on CRX Facebook and the Slide Job Racing Network. We're so glad to have you along on board for this Tuesday. Field rolls off here, no call for Joe Hurd to grid. Two minutes and he does not make the show. Again, everybody, we mentioned it earlier, everybody makes the feature, but everyone wants to win this heat badly because if you win heat race number 1, you're on pole for tonight's feature. The feature this evening is scheduled for 120 laps. Biggest rule change as well that is in place in advance of next week is the number of wrecks you can cause, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. iRacing pace car makes the left-hand turn onto pit road. Billy Snodgrass, Kenny Tripp, bring us to the green flag. Heat 1 is underway. Snodgrass with the slight advantage on Kenny Tripp as the field makes their way down the backstretch, including that dog leg. Want to try and stay tight right next to that yellow curbing as much as you can. Snodgrass and Tripp still stay door to door. Langford stuck in the 3rd position as Sukup and Wynn are side by side for 4th. Lap 1 on the books, led by the 52 of Kenny Tripp. The high side has the slight advantage on corner X. It always has and always will. See, the high side has the momentum, has that draft. And behind the 52 is still Steele Langford, and behind him the 74, driven by Blake Wynn. A fun start to the action here as Langford still decides to work with that 52 on board with them. Trying to make sure not to bump draft him or make contact with the car in front one bit. No matter where you are here at Phoenix, if you make one slight bump, you're on for the ride. Just say that the least. 7 drivers battling for the lead here. Kyle Bartos in the 88 just set the quickest lap at a 31.62. Luke Turpin back in 8th. John Brancaccio 9th. Art Hendren actually went off track for a couple seconds last lap. And because of that, he has fallen way off the pace. Billy Snodgrass does not want to give that lead up to Kenny Tripp that easily. The helmet, though, can clear on this dog leg, and he can. So Kenny Tripp able to clear the 99 of Billy Snodgrass, and he has control out at the front of the field. Two laps to go in this opening heat. See if Tripp makes it around the inside. You saw he just about scraped the wall for just a moment. Have to be very careful in doing that here at Phoenix when you go into turn 1, because that can alter your perspective instantly. You think you're as high as possible to arc the corner in, but sometimes you're not really, because that wall can really come at you out of nowhere. 4 cars a chance to win this opening heat. Kenny Tripp, Steele Langford in 3rd, then Billy Snodgrass and Blake Wynn. 1 lap to go. Remember, Billy's got a friend in Blake Wynn. Here's a run to the inside by Billy. for the race lead and for the pole position in tonight's feature. See if that can work. Kenny clears him. Does Billy Snodgrass think about using the bumper? You know Kenny's going to be defensive into turn number 3. Let's see how this works out. Tripp decides to arc it, maybe diming the corner here off at turn number 4. Can he get to the run to the inside? He won't be able to. Kenny Tripp wins heat race number 1. Billy Snodgrass second. The photo for third goes to Blake Wynn over Steele Langford. And so heat race number 1 is done. One more heat race left to go. Let's meet the field and how they look. Here is your starting lineup for that heat race. Kendrick Cryer, number 17 with a points lead coming on in. He's on pole position next to the driver of the number 13. That's T-Cray, Tyler McRae. Team Money's in the 13. Row number 2, Aaron Raymond, who has come close a lot of times to getting that first victory, and he is next to Jason Snodgrass in the 199. Row number 3, it's Jeff Byers. Byers in car number 11. And next to him is that a little bit confusing, next to him the 85 of Brandon Kiger. Row 4, the 39, driven by Jimmy Johnson, the 82 of Nick Jazoboski. Rounding out the top 10, Zach Tosteven in the number 78. And next and behind him, Tyler Letchworth, in the 22. Paul Coleman Jr. has decided to, he's right there behind us. He is in car number 66. A lot of drivers have decided to, or forgotten to, put their actual car number on their iRacing car. And so that will likely lead to warnings, if not penalties or something like that. Because that normally gets the admins lit up here just a bit. Pace car is in. We'll go green this time with Kendrick Cryer and Tyler McRae the front row. Heat 2 is on. McRae clears off at turn 2. First time, that's the earliest we've seen somebody clear for the race lead. But it's a drag race for third to turn 3 between Aaron Raymond and Jason Snodgrass. And Raymond pulls out ahead with the advantage into the third spot, and everyone stays single file for right now. Cryer, meanwhile, gives the 13 of McRae a little bit of a bump draft into turn number 1. Raymond looks for a hole on Cryer for second spot. They have to shift up the track to get the banking. Doesn't work though. One up in the wall though is Jason Snodgrass. And that allows Brendan Kiger to get a run all the way down to the inside. A 5-car race for the 4th position. And Kiger on the move early. Started in 6th. He's up to 4th within 2 laps. But a race for the lead once again. Cryer underneath on McRae for the top spot. I believe it was Kendrick at the start-finish line. But Aaron Raymond now starts to close in on both of them. In fact, he's up to the bumper of the 17 for the lead. On board with the 10 of Aaron Raymond. Nearly touching across the start-finish line. 3 laps to go in heat race number 2. Raymond with the preferred corner. However, though, a shallow entry as Cryer tried to pinch him down. Not even allowing 4th place on back, who have the bigger pack, to close on in. Again, this is what I was talking about here with the hybrid pack racing. You can stay packed up, you can stay side by side, but you need that momentum, that's for sure. Raymond tries to side draft off of Cryer. They nearly touch. At the line, it was Cryer. 2 to go. We had trouble. Jimmy Johnson has wrecked in the 39. Jeff Byers is also in it. A quickie look at a replay before we take the white flag. Johnson was already loose in turn number 4. Byers gets into him, and a head-on collision in the safer barrier. And I think as well, Byers hit the attenuator. White flag, though, out in the air. 1 lap to go in heat race number 2. Aaron Raymond versus Kendrick Cryer versus Tyler McRae for this heat win. Raymond tries to slide up and pinch Cryer right next to that safer barrier. That just allows Cryer to get the run he needs off of turn 2. McRae tries to bump draft his teammate Raymond to the win in heat race number 2. Who's starting on the outside of the front row? We're about to find out. Raymond slides up the racetrack. Here comes Tyler McRae. Doesn't make the run to pull up. Cryer's up on the wall without the stripe given to the 10 of Raymond by 0.03 of a second. Now that was a fun heat race. Hard racing at its finest. And we'll step aside and go to break for our warm-up. Gives the chance for all the drivers to find their pit stall. Stay with us, the feature coming up next here on the Slide Job Racing Network. Set to go racing here at the Phoenix Raceway. Let's meet the field and give you your starting lineup for tonight's 120 lap feature. On the pole position, Kenny Tripp in car number 52, and next to him, it's Aaron Raymond in the number 10. Row number 2, Billy Snodgrass, the 99, and Kendrick Cryer in the 17. Row 3, it's Blake Wynn in the 74, and T-Money, Tyler McRae, he's in the 13. Row number 4, Steele Langford in the 16, Brandon Kiger is in the 85. Row number 5, and rounding out the top 10 here this evening is the 45 of Travis Sukup and the 199 of Jason Snodgrass. Row 6, Stephen Rex. He's in car number 27 this evening, and it's Nick Jazoboski in the 82. Row number 7, Kyle Bartles in the 88. Tyler Letchworth is in the 22. And in row number 8, John Brancaccio's in the 62. Zach Tosteven is in car number 78. Here's how the rest of the grid looks here on the screen. 17th, Art Hendren. 18th, Paul Coleman Jr. 19th, Luke Turpin. 20th, Jimmy Johnson. 21st, Joe Hurd. And 22nd, rounding out the field, is Jeff Byers. Again, 120 laps here scheduled this evening around the Phoenix Raceway. 6 tire sets for all the drivers to use. This is an abrasive track, so keep that in mind. Tire wear is going to be an issue, and drivers will have to pit at least once. Field window on the Cup cars normally 70 laps. In a street stock, it can vary. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in this race. Pace car is in. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Raymond and Tripp, bring us to green. It's showtime in the desert. Raymond looking for a run on the 52 of Kenny Tripp for the race lead. They nearly touch on lap number uno, as the field does pace laps at speeds of just about 120 miles an hour. Lap 1 is led by the 52 of Kenny Tripp. Kendrick Cryer moves into the 3rd position early. See if he can possibly make a move as Raymond tries to side draft off that 52 and see if he can find a way to clear for the race lead. Kenny Tripp just coming off that Heat 2 victory, or the Heat 1 victory. Aaron Raymond on Heat 2 using side drafting to his advantage as the 2 touch once again. Got to be careful in doing that here tonight, because if you make a lot of contact, you could make somebody mad and angry, and it could get really aggressive from there on out. Steele Langford, quickest car in the draft, running in the 6th position, 31.71. That red and white 16 wants to break in the top 5 past Blake Wynn. Raymond up the track, trying to get that banking we talked about, trying to get it as much as he can. Now, we talked about earlier briefly, there is a new rule change when it comes to how many wrecks you can cause. And it's now gone down from a 3-strike rule to a 2-strike rule. If you cause a wreck one time, you will be penalized and will have to make a pass-through on pit road, and you will have to tell race control when you are making that pass-through, and then your black flag will be clear. If you cause a wreck a second time, you will be parked for the duration of the race. Kenny Tripp led the lap at the start-finish line, your pole position, pole sitter. Keep in mind, top 2 still looking for their first win of the CRX season. Of course, Aaron Raymond's come close many times on the season, from Atlanta to Richmond to Martinsville, amongst others. Kendrick Cryer has won a lot of races on the year in that Zeem set-up shop BHP number 17. Billy Snodgrass by himself in the 4th position, working with the 17. Langford looks for a run underneath. He gets the run on the entry of the corners, but off at turn 2 is where the highest of banking here at this racetrack. That's what pays off here if you are on the high side off at turn number 2. Find a way to get some momentum. Biggest mover early here after the opening few laps. The driver of the 12 in Luke Turpin, who started 19th, is in the 13th spot. But meanwhile, these 2 cats have just been continuing to have some fun. Let's ride on board here for a lap with Kendrick Cryer. Watch the needle closely on the tachometer. Line off to avoid bump draft in the 10, especially in that dog leg. Lifts a lot and is just trying to drag the brake throughout the corner. There you see how it looks overhead. And McRae wants a run on win for the 6th position. See if that can work. But man, I tell you, this looks a lot like Talladega or Atlanta here at the moment. I told you, hybrid pack racing can make for a lot of fun. Let us know your pick to win as well in the chat. We'll be sure to give you a shout out live and on the air. Tripp again leads the line by just about a bumper. You know, obviously this is a long race, 120 lap race. But if we see a late race restart, we could see a lot of double file racing, a lot of beating and banging coming to the finish line. We could see something a lot similar to that Heat 2 win that Aaron Raymond was able to take from Kendrick Cryer and Billy Snodgrass. Or I'm sorry, from Kendrick Cryer and Tyler McRae. Cryer and Billy Snodgrass just about touch entering turn number 1. That's what's great about these streeters. That if you bang into someone, it's forgivable. But you just don't want to bang into anybody a little bit too much as you're again on board with the 17. Now watch how close Raymond tries to get onto that 52, see if he can force him into the wall, but it's still that Lucas Oil ride that continues to command the troops out in front officially. There you see the skid marks under the 10. He got tight, and Raymond briefly got sideways. Top 6 drivers all side by side, 2 by 2. Tyler McRae on back to Brandon Kiger have decided to stay single file. And in fact, here's a fun fact. The 9th place car is under 1 second behind the leader. That, of course, is Steven Rex, who started out from the 11th position. Raymond just looking to find a way and take the lead and clear. He has always been an aggressive driver and just looks to find that way to try and make his way to the front in an NFG situation. The thing is, he's got Kendrick Cryer right behind him, and that driver, the 17, also wants the race lead too. It's still 3 rows of double file action. McRae may possibly get side by side with the 74 Blake Wynn in just a moment. As you see, he pulls up to the door in the center of 3 and 4. Some drivers have decided to play patient and stay in the back. I think the most notable drivers here. Oh, hang on a second. Kenny Tripp really got sideways, and Langford makes contact with Billy Snodgrass, and that allows Raymond to clear and have full control of this race lead. He's able to shut the door on Kenny Tripp, and the 52 taps the wall. Now an opening for the 17 to Kendrick Cryer. Can he go to the lead? You see that rear end flopping around on the number 10. So officially a new leader in Aaron Raymond, who is just trying to protect both lanes in that rear view mirror. Don't know if he has a real life spotter working with him in the Discord, but he is doing a lot of mirror driving early. You see, of course, this is a 13 car pack. Some drivers have decided, you know what, let's just play it patient early here. It's this lap number 15. So we're nearly 3 wide for the race lead. Cryer up to that quarter panel of the 10, but can't make the full run underneath. 2 drivers I was talking about, Jeff Byers and Zach Tosteven, who are running in 14th and 15th respectively. Cryer looks to move to that number 2 spot. He has had a just incredible start to the season. You know, 2 wins on the year at least. Actually make that 3 wins. At least took the wins at Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, was trying to win at Richmond, and then he got penalized in that one. Then was able to win at Oxford. Prevented the back to front challenge for Steven Rex to be won. So So, but he has been a huge factor in getting that 17 to where it is. So as well, Steele Langford, who's been driving the 17 a little bit when Kendrick Cryer can't race the 17. Currently running in the 6th position at the moment. But back up front, Raymond has a 2.5, 3 car length advantage on Cryer. That's the biggest lead anyone's had so far today. And now the 17 able to clear the 52 to move into the 2nd position. Now let's see here if Cryer can help out Billy Snodgrass get a pole to try and race side by side with the 52. You can see Billy Snodgrass. There was a huge gap between him and the 13 of Tyler McRae. You see the lane change from Steele Langford, a great lane change to move from high to low, and possibly help out that 99 of Billy Snodgrass. Not lose a spot to Blake Wynn. But Kenny Tripp now has the 3rd spot clear. I think it was thanks to that high side, which had that huge pole going down the backstretch, and that dog leg, they had the huge strap, and they were all bunched up together, nose to tail. Not really too much gaps. Fixed setups here, by the way, for the drivers here at CRX this week, with it being a 1-mile racetrack. Again, as we mentioned, with 3 races left on the season, the races vary here. Rest of the schedule coming up. Rockingham is next week on the 22nd. 29th, a super speedway fixed race at Auto Club. The championship will take place on September 12th at Langley. Last week it was announced as well on the schedule that the series would not be running the Labor Day Dirt Special event, which was supposed to be a little all-star exhibition type race. However, though, CRX officials have decided that will not take place, as we have a new leader at the line. Kendrick Cryer puts the number 17 out to the point, and he actually used the high side get done to nose out on the 10. Great move from him to take the lead. Now he looks to clear on Aaron Raymond, but the thing is, Cryer has no help whatsoever drafting down the backstretch. We'll love to see how this looks going through the front straight. As you see, Tripp got really tight into turn number 3, opens up a chance for Blake Wynn to take away the 3rd spot, and he's one that's pretty good at the super speedways as well. Aaron Raymond takes the lead back at the start-finish line. And now Tripp decides not to go for the bump draft on the 74. He wants to make the run downstairs for the 3 spot. And the 2 get together and touch. Get everybody hanging on for right now. At the moment, take you for a ride on board with Blake Wynn. See if this will give you a nice idea on how the 10 and the 17 have been racing for each other. Watch Raymond go into turn number 3 and 4 and see Blake actually just scrape the wall. And see as he tries to briefly mark his way up the racetrack, you see he tries to pinch Cryer or force Cryer up, and it just doesn't really work the best to his advantage. And Tripp, meanwhile, with a run for that 3rd position. Let's go back on board once again with the 74, because this is one of our favorite angles we have. The door cam shows you how close the leaders can be racing each other. Just had as well Art Hendren make his way into pit road. He is on his way out. There you see it right there. That's the perfect angle there. Cryer and Raymond getting together. And this helps out the driver of the 10 clear for the lead. And tries everything he can do to shut the door on Kendrick Cryer. Cryer gives him a little bump down that dog leg. Now can Tripp get a possible run for 2nd? Briefly zones up the track. Cryer throws the bumper run at the 10. It is a 6-car battle for this race lead. He can throw a blanket under all of them. And the 10th place driver is actually making the 9th place driver is up 10 spots. It's the driver of the... Oh, look out! That's Kenny Tripp, Billy Snodgrass. Travis Suka, first caution of the day, is out. And it's already taken out some contenders early. Lap number 27, and it's calamity. Kenny Tripp also involved, we already said. 27 is also involved of Stephen Rex. Normally that's been driven by Matt Pelletier. You also saw some damage as well, the 45, the left side of Travis Sukup. Give you a good look at what happened. 52, second car on the inside with the Lucas Oil colors. See if he just washed up or did he get loose in turn number 1. Remember, we talked about how the tire grip can go away easily. And there was some neck code, I think, between Tripp and Billy Snodgrass. And, man, that's a hard shot for the driver of the 52. Here's a look at it in real time. I don't think there was neck code. I think the 2 hooked. We'll just have to see Billy Snodgrass is on board in just a little bit. But we have pit stops happening. Drivers taking their first set of tires here that they have. First of 5 sets of tires, I should say. And we'll watch Aaron Raymond stop. Decides to go for right side tires. 2 drivers stayed out. That was John Brancaccio and Paul Coleman. Art Hendricks should get back on the lead lap as he had made a pit stop early. Raymond followed by Luke Turpin, who also played the same strategy as Aaron Raymond to take 2 tires. Kendrick Cryer on back, pretty much took 4 tires on that pit stop. Johnny B makes his way down pit road, but it's Paul Coleman Jr. in the K266 out in front of the field. Let's watch an onboard here while we're at it. Let's watch Kenny Tripp's perspective. That was, I guess, something that he probably didn't see coming one bit. Travis Sukup, as he was trying to, he had a miss, but then got turned off of, I believe, that was Stephen Rex. And let's actually watch Stephen Rex is on board. So 3-car accident breaks out. Check and see who gets the penalty here. As being deemed a situation between Snodgrass and the 52. So they'll go to the tail, but obviously a lot of damage on that Lucas Oil ride and a tough break for him. But we are coming back to the green flag. 30 laps up on the board. It's Aaron Raymond and Luke Turpin that make up row number 1. Kendrick Cryer and Blake win row 2. Kyle Bartles and Steele Langford row 3. Jeff Byers, Jason Snodgrass row 4. Tyler Letchworth and Zach Tosteven round out the top 10. It's either Tosteven or Tusteven. I'm not too sure. If anyone's watching of Zach's, please confirm for me, please. Field is in the hands of the green flag, and we're back underway. Now, Luke Turpin in that second spot. Cryer gave Raymond a bump. He may have had to let off the gas, but man, what a corner exit for Superman. Luke Turpin from 19th to the lead in just 31.5 laps. Tell you as well, Paul Coleman Jr. decided to make a way through pit road and start from the back. Did not want to be in the way of the leaders. It's Turpin out in front. Raymond wants to clear for second, which he does. That leaves Wynn and Cryer hanging out and a Grobschnob down the back. Steele Langford back out there, running in the top 5. Luckily able to dodge that bullet in the Kenny Tripp accident. Tell you, all drivers are back out on the track with the exception of the 99 Billy Snodgrass still on pit road. Hendren and Tripp are multiple laps down. New fastest lap of the race by the 10 of Raymond. A 31.59, and he wants the race lead back from Turpin. And Raymond's got the push he needs from the 17 of Kendrick Cryer. Cryer decides, you know what? I'm going to go back up and work with Turpin. But we've got the second caution of the day out. We'll see what that is for. Zach Testeven and Tyler Letchworth, from what we were hearing, and appeared to be in the center of 3 and 4, if not coming off of turn 4. Some left front damage on the 78. Steven. Letchworth, meanwhile, he looks a little bit clean. Let's see if we get a better look at the right side of the Baja Blast scheme. And he looks actually pretty good. Take a look at what happened here. Going into turn number 3, that's the 22 of Letchworth. He got a little squirrely entering the corner. I think, did he just get back on the throttle a little bit too early? Oh, he makes contact with the corner panel of Johnson. He tried as much as he could to avoid it. And then the 9 car. That's to Steven. Gets to the piece of the melee too. Here it is in real time. Just barely touched the quarter panel. Kiger helps out. Man, he did a good job to prevent that car from spinning. Right on board with Letchworth. As he was racing Johnson. Luckily, as we mentioned, no damage on his ride. Let's go to Steven. Watch Kiger. I want to see this one. See, he touched the wall there. That affected him just a little bit. Couple of takers on pit road. Letchworth decides to take 2 tires. Tyler McRae wins the race off pit road, followed by Travis Sukup, Paul Coleman Jr. and company. But it's Luke Turpin that is currently being scored here as the race leader at the moment. And while we're at it, let's talk about the Slide Job Racing Network, your home for iRacing leagues. If you have a league series or special event and want exposure, go to slidejobRacingNetwork.com and click on the Broadcast Inquiries forum. We offer broadcast quality shows at a good price. And if you want to kickstart a career in broadcasting and production, if you have an interest in video production, commentary, graphics, or any other assets that could be valuable to a growing team, contact Marty Sakala on Facebook or Twitter at Marty Sakala. That's spelled C-Z-E-K-A-L-A. Interested in seeing what race control does here for this restart. So ready to go back to green here. Luke Turpin and Aaron Raymond make up row number 1. Blake Wynn and Kendrick Cryer on row 2. Kyle Bartle, Steele Langford, row 3. Jeff Byers and Jason Snodgrass, row 4. Jimmy Johnson, Nick Jazabowski round out the top 10. Again, on these restarts, it is iRace net controls when to go back to green. If you jump the restart, you will be forced to make a penalty, a pass-through penalty. Nice restart by the top 5 as the 6th place driver, which is, I believe, Jeff Byers of not Kyle Bartles, spun the tires or something. But does treat the top 5 to try and pull away from the mess on back. Does allow Aaron Raymond to try and take the lead from Luke Turpin. As you see, he washes up the track once again. You see there's a little bit of a width between the 10 and the 12, and Raymond is able to lead at the start-finish line, which helped him out for sure. Turpin, oh man, really tight in turn number 2, and it's 3 wide for 3rd. A lot of drivers had to check up, like Langford and Blake Wynn, to avoid hitting the 12, which could have led to a massive accident. But luckily with the driver of the 16, he's able to use the draft off the 17 to stay in touch with him. You start to see Cryer with a bump draft off the 10. Langford, meanwhile, sends it into turns 1 and 2. Ooh, that's tight between him and the... Oh, Turpin hooks the 16. The 16 reversed the wheel to the left to avoid getting into him. And there was a terrific save by Steele Langford. That could have been ugly as well. But now back up front for the lead. Here comes Cryer. Looked underneath on Raymond, but couldn't get it to work. And the deal with Turpin and Langford also moves the 74 Blake Wynn into the 4th position. Kyle Bartles has stayed put in that 6th spot. Decided to stay out under that last caution. We've yet to talk about the driver out of Kansas City, Missouri. Started from the 13th position. 4 drivers in the field have picked up at least 10 spots. Luke Turpin is up 14 in 5th. Jeff Byers, your biggest mover. He's up 15 and 7th. Yellow flag is out. That's for Nick Jazabowski in the 82. That is across the start-finish line. Jazabowski has been running mid-pack throughout the day here so far. Let's take a look and show you what happened. In front of him, Steven Rex, who was in 13th spot. Watch Kiger as he had a huge run in turn 4. Just bumps the 82 as Jazabowski's trying to save it. Gets into Kiger. And around the pickle machine goes. Ooh, Travis Sukup takes a big hit in that. Ooh, and same does the 62 of Johnny B. Man, more drivers in that one than we thought there was. Watch this in real time. Man, nice miss from Steven Rex. On board Jazabowski. So he brings his Machine into pit road, and the leader at the line was Aaron Raymond in the 10. I'm going to step aside and turn off the mic briefly under the pace laps. We'll step aside here. Stay with us. All right, we're ready to come back to the green flag here. 48 laps will go up on the board this time by Aaron Raymond and Kendrick Cryer make up row number 1. Steele Langford and Blake Wynn, row number 2. Luke Turpin and Jeff Byers, row number 3. Jimmy Johnson and Jason Snodgrass, row number 4. Joe Hurd, all the way from the back. Next to Tyler McRae, they round out the top 10. Ready to bring the field back to the green flag. Barney's got the green in hand. And that's earlier restart that time for Aaron Raymond. And he's able to clear Kendrick Cryer. Look who moves up into second. Highest position for Steele Langford today in that 2 spot. Now watch Cryer. He bumps the 16 off for 2, just as we expected, because he was going to get a huge run on the exit of the corner. Win in 4th, Turpin rounds out the top 5. Everybody all single filed out here after going double file. Now currently in a train for side-by-side battle on track is for the 8th spot between Jason Snodgrass and Joe Hurd. Before we had the yellow flag fly, I was about to say that 4 drivers have moved up at least 10 spots, and Joe Hurd is one of them. Starting in 21st, he is up to the 9th spot. Biggest mover, though, is Jeff Byers. He started from 22nd. He is up to 7th. Luke Turpin and Jimmy Johnson each up 14 spots. But now we start to see racing for the lead as Cryer has moved his way back up into the 2 spot. Blake Wynn as well, back up there as well. He's moved up to 3rd. And you see Cryer gets Raymond a little squirrely. On corner exit, makes the run upstairs to the attic for the lead. They touch. Cryer loose. He's up in the wall. And through goes Steele Langford to the lead. Well, that just got interesting. I'm not sure what broke out in that. Cryer is probably going to be kicking himself there after that one. This should give us a good idea on what happened. He just simply touched. No room but 2 cars in that hole. The 17 pays the price, and now he's just going to have to try and rebound. Look who this also brings into this equation. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Byers. But you can still put the top 5 under a blanket. 3 wide for the lead. Luke Turpin dancing with the devil. Everybody washes up the racetrack. Somehow nobody catches the wall, and somehow Luke Turpin did hook a quarter panel there. This is some good stuff here early. Turpin and Wynn bang doors through turns 3 and 4. From 1st to 7th, it is just 0.6 of a second. Turpin again 3 wide. Throws the elbow at Steele Langford. Raymond up in the wall. There's a bump by Blake Wynn. Cryer tries to bump Luke Turpin. Does Cryer look underneath? Turpin slams the door right in his face. This is insanity. Drivers are probably not going to be happy at each other because of the fact that we're on lap number 55. Way too early, possibly, for the aggression that we're seeing right now. Turpin, meanwhile, sends it into turn 1, throws the slide job. Langford clears on Raymond to 2nd. Cryer wants to run at it for P2. Here comes Jimmy Johnson, 3 wide for 4th. You can't fit everyone under there. Oh, my. Everyone squirrely through the dog leg and hang on to it. Turpin makes contact with Langford once again. Nearly puts the 16 in the wall. Turpin, the new leader at the line. Now, what do you do here if you're Kendrick Cryer? Do you think about going for 3 wide? Hey, if Turpin can, I don't see why not. Cryer's one that's not really here to make friends. He's here to win races just like the driver in front of him in that number 12 is. Oh, man, Langford and Turpin barely take each other out. That could have been dangerous there, that's for sure. I don't know how the leaders have not wrecked yet. I just don't. But the way that they are racing is just wild. Jimmy Johnson now up to that 4th position with a nice run that he's currently having today. Let's go back to that door cam we were showing you earlier and just show you how close things could get between Langford and Raymond. Oh boy. Raymond with a run underneath. It's 3 wide. Once again, room is given. And because of all this hard racing, Luke Turpin has one of the biggest leads of the day so far. 0.4 of a second on Kendrick Cryer. It's about 3.5 car lengths. Man, Langford nearly forces Wynn into the grass, and Kyle Bartles now wants to become a factor in this race. Do you just imagine if those were the final laps of this feature? Just imagine all the mayhem that could have been brought up. '16 goes up the track. Kyle Bartles now wants the 6th spot. That's the highest spot he's been in so far today. And that's CRX number 88. I think, you know, with the top 5 now all single file, I think a lot of drivers have learned their lesson that, hey, you know, this is a long race. We are now at the halfway point. Let's just chill out and make sure that we can get our cars to the finish at least and up near the front. Raymond looked low on Cryer briefly for 2nd. 17 though shuts the door, and now Cryer tries the longer way around. Just look how close he is on that number 12, trying to side draft. Woo-hoo-hoo! Man, I thought Cryer was going up in the wall. I'm not kidding. Up the racetrack they go. Here comes Aaron Raymond. He's got a hole. Aaron Senna once said, if you don't go for a hole, you're not a racer. 3 wide again for the race lead. Will we see a new leader in the number 10? Cryer, though, the biggest loser. He could even lose the 3rd spot to his teammate in Jimmy Johnson. As they touch for the line, it is the 10 of Raymond. But it's again 3 wide to turn 1. Cryer backs out of it. He knows, remember, the last time the leaders were 3 wide to turn number 1. A big wreck nearly broke out. It was nearly disastrous. And now Jimmy Johnson moves up to 3rd, highest position that he's been in this race tonight. Tell your friends to tune on in, folks. This is a fun race that we are watching at the moment. A lot of bumpers in the turn 1, trying to send somebody high up the racetrack. Oh, man. Wynn had to back out of that because he was about to be stuck in a hole that he could not have gotten out of. Johnson moves into the 3rd spot. Cryer down to 4th. Wynn falls back to 5th. Moves back up to the front of the field. Here comes Johnson for 2nd as Turpin got sideways. There was some net code off of turn 2. Could have been an easy 2nd spot for Jimmy Johnson to take. But net code means he'll have to fight harder this time. And they touch once again, leaning on each other. And Johnson very squarely entering turn number 1, like he dragged the brakes a little bit too much. Tried to prevent a side draft from happening, but he nearly pulled up to the quarter panel of Superman for the 2nd position. Oh, and the wall goes Blake Wynn. Contact with Steele Langford, and that puts both of them just inside the top 10, barely. Zach to Steven. Looks to get back in the top 10 after the last caution flag. But that nearly ended both of their days. They are very lucky. Just put them in the wall. Now the field goals single file for right now at the moment. As you take a look at the pit strategy here, amongst the top 10, a lot of the drivers working on just about lap number 40 or so into their run. Which means could be about 30, at least 30 laps away from possible pit stops happening. Raymond decides to use the middle groove, the neutral groove. It just opens up the door for Luke Turpin to pull up to try and go for the race lead. Either that or he just had a lot of understeer going into turn 3. Johnson with another send-in for the 3rd spot. Let's take you for a ride on board here with the 39 of Jim. Just show you how tight this can be, going, especially going into turn number 1. See how sideways he is? You see how that car is at an angle? He's like dirt tracking it. There was some tire contact between Cryer and Turpin off for 2, which nearly led to a wreck breaking out. Meanwhile, how about Tyler McCrane, that number 13? Just sent it in there to take the 6th spot from Jeff Byers. He has been very quiet since he decided to take the pit stop on lap 36. And in fourth spot is Kyle Bartos. Now remember, he was the last guy to take some tires, but he's up on the wall. Cryer, I think, forced him in there. His tires are 17 laps older than the top three, and I think they are coming in handy right now. But again, like we mentioned, all about the draft and the momentum, and in a long run, tires could become a factor. See if Bartels looks for third on Cryer. Gives him the bumper to try and move him up the racetrack. It doesn't work. Let's go back beyond the leaders here. Race for 10th. That's the first drag race at the dog leg. That's Steele Langford and Zach Tusteven. Remember, Tusteven trying to recover from that last caution flag, which he has done so pretty well, and he had some fender damage, which, as you see on the Napa Know-How ride, he has been able to recover from it. Art Hendren reports that he has gone off the track a little while ago, and that number 37, currently in 17th. Not been a good day so far for Art, and he brings his street stock onto pit road. But back up at the front of the field, it is still the Dropping Bombs number 10 entry of Aaron Raymond commanding the troops, and there is lap traffic ahead. Believe that is the 62 of John Brancaccio, the leaders are approaching, who's in 19, 3 laps down. Tell you something, Cryer had the rear wheels of Turpin lifted off the ground. That Turpin nearly spun because of it, because he had no rear grip. Oh man, now we're getting dicey. Turpin slammed the door, run it well on Kendrick Cryer, tries to block it once again. Cryer shoves his nose underneath. Leaning on another down the back chute. Kyle, I would probably back out of this. He forces Cryer in the grass, and the wall goes Turpin. And he hits Jimmy Johnson, and as he's trying to save it. Oh my goodness, if I were Turpin, I'd be furious right now in that cockpit. I'm glad we don't have the radios queued up, because I think we've got some beef here at the desert. You see Johnny B lets the leaders go by. And what has been so far the race's longest run. 0.6 of a second lead for Aaron Raymond. That's the biggest lead anyone has had so far today. And just look at him trying to pull away from Kendrick Cryer. But that big draft, that big train behind the leader, that could help them out here. Aaron Raymond remain out in front. Let's look at another race here. Turpin trying to recover after nearly wrecking it out thanks to Kendrick Cryer. Races Johnson for the 4th spot, and this helps out Bartels and Cryer pull away. Also up there, Tyler McRae, too, in that number 13. And I believe McRae and Turpin have had some beef in some other series on iRacing in the past. Now McRae pitted on lap number 36. So his tires are not as fresher as the 3rd place driver in Bartels, but they're just barely fresher than the top 2 in Raymond and Cryer. That lead, though, is starting to die down just a bit between Raymond and Cryer. It is now 0.4 of a second as we click off lap 78. All drivers, luckily, we're glad to see that are still on the racetrack as we work lap number 79. And while we are at it, gives us a chance to give you a full field rundown right now. Aaron Raymond, the current leader, with Kendrick Cryer in 2nd. 3rd is Kyle Bartels, 4th Tyler McRae, and it's a wild race for 4th between McRae and Turpin, Johnson, Byers, and Jason Snodgrass. 9th, Stephen Rex, Steele Langford is 10th, Zach Tusteven is 11th, Joe Hurd, 12th. Blake Wynn in 13th. Tyler Letchworth in 14th. Paul Coleman Jr. 15th. Nick Jazoboski in 16th. Those are the final cars on the lead lap, and Raymond is approaching Jazoboski. Brandon Kiger, first driver, a lap down. He is, or rather make that 2 laps down, I believe, in 17th. Art Hendren 18th. John Brancaccio 19th. Kenny Tripp, who led a part of the race earlier on, in 20th. Billy Snodgrass 21st. Travis Sukup, the last car on track, in 22nd. But it's now turned into a 3-car race for the lead here between Raymond, Cryer, and Bartles. Back to the race for 4th. How about Jeff Byers, who we have yet to see in the top 5 today, and now his highest spot possible in the 4th spot, and he started all the way back from 22nd position. As Turpin is now faded all the way down to the 8th spot. But if we see a late race restart, let us know who you're rooting for as well in the chat. 12 viewers watching live on the Slide Job Racing Network YouTube channel, as well as the CRX Facebook page, and it's a 3-car battle for the lead. Cryer may have a chance longer way around. We'll see. He's been known for doing that a lot. Maybe trying to force Raymond to go up the racetrack and then possibly counter back. And in the wall went Kyle Bartles. Doesn't lose, though, a lot of momentum because of the draft he still has. Tyler McRae, Jason Snodgrass, 5th spot. Snodgrass trying the shorter way around possible, using that racing line, and to take the position away. Race for the lead, though, breaks out. Here comes Cryer, though, underneath. Raymond led the lap of the start-finish line. The 17 wants to take the spot back. Raymond tries to force the 17 over the yellow turtle. Raymond with the slight advantage off at turn number 4, but thanks to Cryer's side draft, oh my goodness. They have been actually tied at the stripe, but live timing had it as Aaron Raymond barely. But AC tries to force the 10 up on the wall, which works out for Kendrick. Give him the slight advantage. There is some lap traffic ahead in Travis Sukup. A touch once again. How long is this going to go on for? New leader at the line possibly? Yes, Aaron Raymond back out front. Kyle Bartles is just enjoying this one. Look at the run he gets in turn 2. They touch again. Look how tight this is as Raymond continues to lead. Bam! Let's watch that again. Top three all under a blanket. This is helping the fourth place driver and Jeff Byers close in for the race lead with 31 laps to go. Nearly banging again. Let's go back to the pit strategy once again here. As this is over 60 laps on a run, longest run we've seen. Could we see green flag pit stops late in the race where drivers would just top off on fuel? We would just have to see what goes down. Oh man, Bartels forces the top two to touch. And it's with Paul Coleman Jr. in front of him and Travis Sukup. This could get interesting. Coleman Jr. goes out of the way, especially as well with the fact that he's been blinking a lot throughout this race. But it's now both Sukup and the 74 of Blake Wynn, and Wynn decided to stop on lap 87. Luke Turpin is also down on pit road, and it could be 3 wide off of turn 4. Just under 30 laps to go here at Phoenix. Up the track goes the 10. Cryer looks to go to the point. I think Raymond is planning on stopping soon, so he's trying to find a way to get down to the bottom. And how about Jeff Byers? Because of the way the top three have been racing, this has allowed him to close on in to the race for the lead. Like, look at the lap times that he has been running. We'll pull this up here and show you folks at home. Oh, 3 wide for the lead. Bartels forces his nose underneath. Oh, going through Sukup. Cryer goes up the track. It's still 3 wide. Raymond by a bumper. About an inch as Bartels is sideways once again. Watch Byers closely, folks. Nobody on pit road at the moment for their final stop of the day. Oh boy! Raymond and Bartels touch. Raymond up out of the attic groove. Lets the top two race at it. Can Bartels lead his first lap of the day? He can't. And Byers moves up to third. What a race for the lead this is. This is some incredible racing that we've seen today, folks. And everyone's kept it straight. Cryer up in the wall. And I think now the top four are all single file. Expect them to come in shortly. But now, because these are street stocks and it's a pack racing track, expect the game of chicken to begin. If you can wait the longest and take less fuel, you've got a good shot at winning this one. Now watch Byers in that 94, who has been the fastest car on track in these last couple of laps. Bartels looking for the lead on the high side. Raymond shuts the door right in his face. Can Bartels cross over? No, both of them at the wall. Byers underneath for second. Just with the way they've been racing, Byers has just said, thank you very much, ladies and gents. Highest spot that Jeff Byers has been in. Remember, he started all the way back in the 22nd position. Last time he raced with us, he was in number 78. He's moved the number to number 11 this time. Zach Testeven in the 78 this weekend. As one's in the pits, that's Brandon Kiger. Now making his way off pit road. Could Byers be going for the lead here with 23 to go? Raymond, man, shut the door right in his face. Byers throws him the chrome horn, lets him know he's there. Your race is for the lead through the dogleg, and they touch. Raymond says, hello, sir. This is what we've been going through in the race for the lead. We ain't going to give it up this easily. Jeff Byers through to the point with 22 laps to go at the line. First time the 94 has been out in front. But you know Raymond's not going to give it up easily. Crosses over, tries to send it back. But remember, Byers has the preferred line off of 2. Oh, Raymond sideways. Cryer up to the wall. Jason Snodgrass now enters the picture, the 5th place car. We're just wadding them back up once again. With the way the leaders are racing each other this hard, this is helping out the guys that have already pitted, like Luke Turpin, who pitted on lap 90, close in. And same with Blake Wynn, who pitted on lap 87. "21 laps to go. Raymond up on the wall once again. Bartles through to 2nd. On board with number 10. 20 laps remaining. You don't want to change a link, folks. This is about to be good. We've had our highest viewer count on the night with 14. Let's see if we can get it to 15. Jason for 3rd. They touch! Steele Langford's brought the 16 onto pit road. You see the damage he's suffered throughout the day. Raymond now brings the 10 on in. Let's watch his stop. We'll also do as well, pull up the track map and show you where your favorite drivers are on the track. Now remember, it's all going to come down to fuel here with 19 laps to go. You're not even thinking about taking tires here. Raymond doesn't even have the right... Oh, he does put the right sides up. That may be a mistake. I feel like you would just want to take fuel only in this situation with the time we have remaining. But for Raymond, an 11-second stop. Not as fast as Langford, but it was a lot better than Luke Turpin, who had a 32-second pit stop. And Raymond falls through into the 11th position. Now we just wait on your top 4, I should say. Come in. Look at all the time Kendrick Cryer has lost as well. You won't believe this. He is 3.1 seconds behind Kyle Bartles. And here is another time delta, just to show you how things have changed in these last 10 laps. Again, this is the race for the runner-up spot. Oh, trouble! Johnson, and rocks the caution! It's gonna come out with 16 to go! Oh, no! Oh, Paul Coleman collected in it with the ARCA brakes. Johnson, Rex, Coleman, this is not the yellow. Actually, you know what? This may be the yellow you want if you're Aaron Raymond, because he was in front of Jeff Byers. And he will bring the field back to the green flag. And next to him, I don't know who it's going to be, but this is the yellow that Aaron Raymond wants. Oh, baby, this race is just turned upside down. Ends the longest run we will see in this race. Here's a look at what happened. Johnson lost it all by himself. He tried to save it, and there was Steven Rex. That's the thing. Johnson wasn't even on the brake. Look in real time. We'll watch onboards in just a moment. All by himself lost it, and he tried to save it too much right wheel into it. Leaders are in pit road. This is the money stop here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Aaron Raymond will be the leader on this restart. Two tires for Kendrick Cryer. Jason Snodgrass beats him off of pit road on a two-tire stop. Cryer second. Who comes out next? Tyler McRae, Jeff Byers, who lost a lot of time. I think he did 4 tires. It was Kyle Bartles and Nick Jazoboski, who actually, sorry, Jazoboski stayed out. It was then to 7. Luke Turpin, the biggest loser in this one is he was still lapped down, not the yellow he wanted. He's right up board with Jimmy Johnson. Steven Rex. Nowhere to go. Just did not expect the right wheel there. Now we'll go one more here. Paul Coleman Jr. Nope, he was already stopped. That was after the moment he impacted Jimmy. Alrighty. So the new leader with 11 laps to go is Aaron Raymond. Alrighty, remember Aaron Raymond with 5 laps of worn tires, but that yellow is what he wanted as he is back through to the front. Him and Jason Snodgrass, row 1, Kendrick Cryer, Tyler McRae, row 2, Jeff Byers rounds out the top 5. It is an 11-lap shootout to decide who wins this one at Legacy Phoenix tonight. This is going to be fun to the end. So Raymond holds serve. Here comes Cryer for second on Jason Snodgrass. Can he get it to stick off for 2? 1 in the wall. That was McRae. And Cryer's through to P2. McRae, though, with a big send-in. Now that we have 10 laps to go, and the field was all bunched up. You know, the racing's been really aggressive up front for the lead. Have we seen the highest level, though, of the aggression? Personally, I'm not sure if we have just yet. For third, a 4-car race. Bartles gets Jason Snodgrass loose. The 199 washes up the racetrack. Bartles tried to thread the needle, it didn't work. But meanwhile, Kendrick Cryer closing in on Aaron Raymond. Remember the last time these two duked it out for a critical spot. Got to go back to Richmond. It ended in bad blood. How will it end this time? Cryer tries that second groove that he's been so good at all day long. 8 laps to go. He is right there. Had the preferred corner exit off at turn number 2. That was the 17. Raymond may have to, oh, look out! Sideways Tyler McRae, but saves it. 7 to go here at the start-finish line. The leader at the line is Aaron Raymond. So he was able to take the lead back just barely, but they touched in turn 1. May have actually been a little netcode in turn 1. Raymond tries to pinch Cryer up in the wall. It doesn't work. Remember, these were the two that duked at it for the win in heat race number 2. And it ended a lot of contact on the final lap. Raymond got the nod, and he is looking desperately for that first win of the season. They touch once again, 6 to go. Cryer, meanwhile, he's had the most wins on the season so far. He's trying to extend it. Oh, Jason Snodgrass gets turned, but he saves it. 4 wide, around goes Joe Hurd. That won't be a caution. He is off the race course. As we stay under the green flag, but a tough break for Hurd, who was running in the top 5, right place, right time. Your race, though, for the lead, still breaking out. They have a 1.7 second advantage on the third place car in Jeff Byers. 5 laps to go. Watch Cryer's run here off at turn 2 once again. They continue to lean on another. 4 miles remain at Phoenix. Cryer at the line just barely. Oh, Raymond tries to pitch Cryer up again. Can't put him in the wall, but man, this is just some good racing. Some hard racing at its finest. Raymond got tight, though, in turn number 3, but Cryer still leaning on that door. If he wasn't, I think Cryer could have easily had the lead, but it's going to be close here at the line. Cryer edges him out with 3 to go. Raymond, though, on ascent into turn number 1, very aggressive. They lead on another. Raymond with the slide job puts Cryer in the wall. Raymond out to the point. Byers now starts to close in. He's cut the gap in half. Cryer probably not happy at that one. He may want to go get him back and put the bumper on him if he catches up to that spoiler, no matter what lap and no matter what turn. 2 laps remaining. But again, watch out for 3rd and 4th. Jeff Byers and Kyle Bartles. They have cut the gap down to a half second. Cryer again, second groove on the racetrack, where he's been so good at tonight. And he's got to run through turns number 3 and 4. They're side by side coming to the white flag. Is that how they'll be at the checkers? We're about to find out. Cryer led the lap. Raymond leads on Cryer. Both of them sideways in turn 1. Up the track they go. Cryer up in the wall. Raymond up in the wall. They both hang on for now. They still touch. Here comes Byers in the 11. This could get interesting. Byers looks for second. Cryer tries to hook on to Raymond. Everybody touching all over the place. Sideways everybody goes. Byers goes 2 for 1. Oh my goodness me. Jeff Byers. Oh my. What did we just witness? Raymond and Cryer were so focused on each other, they didn't even realize Byers was closing in. From last all the way to first. Oh, man, and we've got post-race activity. Jason Snodgrass appears not to be happy at Kyle Bartles after that one. But Jeff Byers, oh, my goodness. And you see the 0-4 coming in. I think that was not retaliatory. I think that was a little bit of a congratulations on that one. Jeff Byers, He may have some Christmas gifts to give out in a couple months from now. I don't even think he knows how to do a burnout. Man, oh man. We need to watch that final lap once again. Okay, so we're focused on Byers, but you have to focus on both Raymond and Cryer. You see them leaning on another into turn number 1. Raymond slide jobs Cryer again. He actually forces Cryer up the wall, but the two stay side by side. Now, they don't realize that the 94 is closing in / number 11. Here's what happens in the turn number 3. Byers gets a run, contact with Cryer. Cryer makes contact with Raymond. He forces him up the track. Byers goes through just to take the win. And it ends with Cryer backwards across the line. My, oh my. That was wild, ladies and gentlemen. Wildest race we've had all season long. Here's a look at the results. Jeff Byers, the winner on a last lap pass over Kyle Bartles, Aaron Raymond, Kendrick Cryer, Jason Snodgrass, Steele Langford, Tyler Letchworth, Tyler McRae, Luke Turpin, Nick Jazoboski round out the top 10. Show you how everything looks from 11th through 20th. Stephen Rex, last car in the lead lap. Jimmy Johnson had a really good car about just past the halfway point. Kenny Tripp led some laps early, and then round out the field, Travis Sukup and Paul Coleman Jr. Really hoping Jeff Byers knows where to go. And I believe he is in. So we'll begin with our third place driver and Aaron Raymond. Aaron, another tough pill to swallow. Did you realize that Byers was closing in on you and Kendrick for the win?
No. I had that race won until Kendrick threw a temper tantrum on the last lap and tried taking me out and ended up wrecking himself. And yeah, I'm up here on the broadcast booth and he's not, so go on next week.
How did you look at things on the final lap? If you happen to rewatch it, did you think that he made contact with you? Was the contact from the contact with the 94 that sent the 17 into you? Have you looked at the replay yet, or not really?
Yeah, I've looked at it. He was on my outside. He hit the brakes and then deliberately drove through the back of me. And yeah, he intentionally wrecked me at Richmond. So if that's how he's gonna race me, then race him back.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Well, I gotta thank my family, and I gotta thank you for putting on this broadcast, and I gotta thank the guys at CRX for putting on this league.
All right, we'll let you go. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Aaron Raymond with a lot of choice words for Kendrick Cryer, and pretty much paid him back, I guess you could say, after what happened at Richmond in turn number 4. Second place finisher tonight, meanwhile, is Kyle Bartles. Kyle, did you see that one coming?
Not really. First, I just want to apologize to Jason. I know he wrecked me there at the finish, which is kind of unacceptable, but I just got through the corner better than him on that with like 5 to go or something, and I thought he was going to get through it better, just trying to hurry up, try to catch those top 2 because they're pulling away, and I just got through the corner better than him. I just took him out. I thought it was going to be a caution, and I thought that was going to be my race there, but yeah, no, that was great, Jeff, my teammate. We got up there and we were watching them hit each other for first and second. Who was it? Raymond and Cryer, and they put each other in the wall, and we saw that coming. And I'm more happy for Jeff than myself. So I'm ahead of top 5 yet this season, especially top 3. I haven't been up in the booth with you yet this year, but no, didn't see it coming. Especially right there, but always go try for the win. But I'm so happy that teammate won, even better. So.
Absolutely. A great run for both of you guys. Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Oh, of course, uh, Colgan Enterprise, CRX, our whole league. I think we do pretty good for ourselves what we got going on here, and I thought it was a pretty good race. Just like 4 or 5 cautions, was it? So, pretty good race.
All righty, man. We'll let you go. Great job. Awesome run tonight.
Thanks, Marty.
That's Kyle Bartos, our second place finisher. But your winner in victory lane, Jeff Byers from last to first. Jeff, I guess the first thing I'll ask you was with the way the top two were racing, did you see that coming?
Absolutely. I was hoping for it at least. That was my only shot to catch up to him.
Before we got into green flag pit stops on that long run, you were actually the fastest car on the racetrack. What was your strategy going on? Was it just letting the car drive for itself on the low line throughout the race, or what was you and your teammates' strategy throughout the day?
Well, I noticed if I didn't push it too hard on entry and let it roll in center, it would grab and shoot out of the corners, and I was gaining on a lot of people doing that. It turns out that also helps save tires pretty well. So I think that was the key advantage I felt I had on a lot of the guys.
Talk to me about going to turn number 3. Obviously, you had that huge run on both Raymond and Cryer. I think there was a little contact I think you made with Cryer, and then that put him into Aaron Raymond, and then it looked like all three of you were going to go around.
Yeah, so going into the turn, I just, stuck my nose in there. I was trying not to make contact and stay as low as I could. That's probably the lowest I took that turn the whole race. And I know the 17 on the outside was really squeezing me down, and I think him and I kind of bumped doors a couple of times, and I ended up coming out on the better end of that. And I think that's going back to what I was talking about, being able to shoot out of the corner, it really helped there. Plus, I think I had fresher tires in them.
How are you going to celebrate this first win tonight?
Well, I've already done some donuts. I might do some off-road racing with some jumps just for fun.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, who do you want to give shout-outs to in all this at the end?
Shout out to all the guys on my team that got me in here to race these. I really like it. I've had a lot of fun when I've been able to finish races. And to Robert and everybody that heads up things, and to you for doing this broadcast thing.
Now that, tonight, is a back-to-front challenge. You made it work. You made it pay off. Congratulations. I wish it was an official challenge, but hey, it's still last to first. Well done tonight. Congratulations.
Woo!
Jeff Byers, a first-time CRX winner. Wow. That was insane. What a finish at the end, and what a stunner. You guys were treated to an awesome race tonight. Thank you all so much for coming on out this evening. Next time CRX is with you. Next time CRX is with you next Tuesday, Rockingham on the 22nd. Open setups and broadcast at 7:45 p.m. on the CRX Facebook page. On behalf of everyone at the Colgan Racing Xperience, Robert Colgan and his fine group of admins, Marty Sakala signing off. Congratulations to a first-time winner, Jeff Byers, the winner at Phoenix.